Hello, hello. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Thursday, May 6, 2021. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Bada boom, boom. Markets up. Markets up. That's right. Keeps getting higher and higher. Dow Jones Industrial Average added 318 points, reaching a record close. The gains came after better than expected reading on jobless claims. But Etsy tanked 14%, warning that sales will slow as the pandemic boost wanes. And the Nasdaq's been moving down. So this whole momentum in the technology sector is going to continue to decline. Remember, this is very important. We covered it in detail in the Trends Journal back in February of 2020. The first low lives to close down the lives were the Silicon con men. That's right. They were the first ones to lock down. That guy Dorsey, that guy, with the things all over it, this thing and that, I mean, he's out of a cartoon character. And there he is. He was supposed to go to South Africa, and he canceled the trip. This is in February, when it was just starting, the hysteria, and they started closing down. Alphabet, Microsoft, Facebook. So their stocks went way up as everybody was afraid. So anyway, now things are opening up, the stocks are going down. But did you see what gold did today? Yep. Had a nice big bounce today. Jumped over 1%, broke over that 1,800 mark. Very important because inflation is on the way. And again, put anybody out there, show them we were on this inflation in detail in the Trends Journal. We said this was going to happen. And they're still denying it. You had Janet yelling. There's no yelling that yelling, man. Anyway, she came out on Tuesday and warned about inflation and interest rates going up. And then, bam, they shut it down. And no, it's not going to get that bad. No, it's not going to. And now all the media is coming out with all these Fed people saying, it's not going to be that bad. It's not going to be that bad. Yes, it is. It costs $36,000 more just in lumber to build an average house in America. And you keep going on, and we'll keep going on with it. Fed warns about potential for significant declines in asset prices as valuations climb. This just happened today. They're preparing everybody, okay? The whole thing is overblown. They're going to raise interest rates. They're going to have to because inflation is going to skyrocket. And there are a bunch of lying, low-life pieces of scum crap, pieces of, I should say, shit, because they lie about the inflation numbers. And if you want the real inflation numbers, you go to shadowstats.com, John Williams. Because I just mentioned about housing, right? Housing prices have gone up in America from March of 2020 to March of 2021, 17.2%. But we won't put that into the CPI. Anyway, and so we're having now Fed Chair Jerome Powell and others have been asked repeatedly about whether they're concerned over rising prices. Powell specifically has said that as long as interest rates stay low, the valuations are justified. However, the report notes, this is the Federal Reserve report notes, quote, high asset prices in part reflect the continued low level of treasury yields. However, valuations for some assets are elevated relative to historical norms. In this setting, asset prices may be vulnerable to significant declines. You ready? Should the risk appetite fail.
Bullshit.
Risk appetite? How about the money junkies can't get their cheap monetary methadone shots anymore? risk appetite. This goes on. We'll write more about it in the journal. The report also mentions risk at hedge funds and other non-bank financial institutions on several occasions as potential threats to the system. Again, hedge funds, private equity groups, these things didn't exist when I was a young guy. It's one big ripoff. Gold, again, popping up there. Silver was up over 3.3% today. And Brent crude still hanging in there at $68 a barrel. When it goes to 98, it'll be the end, man. Anyway, the cryptos are still strong. Yeah, my view is that this acceleration in the rate of price increases is likely to prove temporary, said Eric Rosengren, the president of the Federal Reserve Bank in Boston, in a speech yesterday. Toilet paper and Clorox was in short supply at the outset of the pandemic. But manufacturers eventually increased supply, and those items are no longer scarce. Hey, shithead, what are you talking about toilet paper for? Because only an asshole would talk about toilet paper. And that shows you how screwed up the people are. That's the first thing they went to do when the pandemic was coming, the COVID war. Make sure you get enough toilet paper to wipe your ass because the assholes believed it. I mean, this is, look what he's talking about here. That's it? That's it? How about the rising prices fuel raw materials super cycle, according to the Financial Times? And this shithead's talking about toilet paper and Clorox? The S&P GSCI Spot Index, which tracks price movements of 24 raw materials, is up 24% this year. Chicken shortages send prices soaring, and restaurants can't keep up. That's only from today's Wall Street Journal. How about this one? After bottoming out at around $460 last year, U.S. benchmark hot-rolled coil steel prices are now sitting, remember, $1,460 last year, $1,500 a ton. That's a record high. Copper, record high. And this guy's talking about toilet paper, and that's the toilet paper record, by the way. The New York Times puts out the propaganda from the banksters, the murderers. That's right. You remember that guy, Jesus Christ, right? Makes a whip to drive the money changers out of the temple, becomes violent, has the Last Supper, and then hanging on the cross. That's who's in charge. That's who's running the show. In a country near you. And the Italians. I'm ashamed of you bringing Draghi, one of the biggest banksters in the world, as your prime minister. I know the people didn't vote for it. The parties bring them in. The people voted for the lying parties. Northern League, Cinque Stelle. Anyway, Apollo buys Yahoo in $5 billion media deal with Verizon. Fox buys Clay Travis news site Outkick. I'm mentioning this because go back to what the Fed's saying about the hedge funds, the private equity. This whole thing is one big scam, and it's going to stop when the cheap money stops flowing. Got it? Google lays out workplace flexibility. I'm only mentioning this because they're going to allowing a fifth of its staff to work from home permanently and another fifth to work a shift in a different geographic location. And Google is moving in a hybrid work week where employees work from the office about 3 days a week and 2 days, quote, wherever they work best. Mr. Pichai said in email. Another guy, man. These are like out-of-space characters. Poof. Anyway, then you read populations in big cities shrinking. What did we write in the Trends Journal only, let's see, about a year ago, this time, that commercial real estate was going to go down really big and bad, and it's not coming back because people are not going to, they're not going to be working in the office as much. So all these businesses have gone that depend on commuters, they're going out. And again, population in big cities shrinking. And again, we do it more in detail. Germany to lift restrictions for people vaccinated against COVID. Isn't that nice, huh? Isn't that wonderful? You get the shot and you're free. Freedom? Yeah, look at your Trends Journal cover. Yep. Gone. And the mindless masses followed. Just like the mindless masses went out and bought toilet paper. A bunch of assholes ran out and bought toilet paper. You can't make this up. In 1 year, the whole world changed. And here you got a Fed guy talking about raising how inflation's going through the roof, and he talks about toilet paper. Seychelles, which has fully vaccinated more of its population against COVID-19 than any other country, has closed schools and canceled sporting activities for 2 weeks as infections surge. They vaccinated more than 60% of the people. And this is out of Bloomberg. 62.2%. But President Joe Biden said that you better get that vax. And we're moving as quickly as we can. Then you look at the numbers here from Pfizer, the vaccine, the drug dealers. They reported net income of $4.9 billion, up 45% from the same period of the prior year. Okay? And again, we have a lot of information on this. The guy who runs the show, Barola, said that it is our hope that the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine will continue to have a global impact by helping to get the devastating under control, blah, blah, blah. That would create a scenario in which Pfizer can continue to be both a leader and beneficiary by basically giving you a vaccine every year. And then you look at the data of this coming out, and BioNTech, this is from Russia Today, received $455 million grant from the German government and got around $6 billion in purchasing commitments from the U.S. Now remember, listen to this. Not only that, but Pfizer vaccine is based on mRNA technology patented by the National Institutes of Health that was funded by the U.S. taxpayers, and they give all the money to the drug dealers to make the drug. Isn't that something, huh? Oh, and by the way, Biden got $1 million from Pfizer. That's right, for his campaign when he was inaugurated. Celebrity endorsement on vaccines. You ready for this? This is out of the toilet paper, too. This is from Dolly Parton. I just want to say to all you cowards out there, this is as she's just got the vaccination, don't be such a chicken squat. Get out there and get your shot. They're allowed to say this, but when I say something like this, I get censored. Who the hell is she to tell me what to do, or anybody else? Why don't, if you want to get the vaccination, get the vaccination. If you don't, don't. You want to wear them, the vaccination's making you safe, so leave me alone. You're safe. But they make the lie out that you're going to go out and kill other people if you don't get the vaccination. And so what are they doing in the United States? Over there in West Virginia, and they can't afford it at all over there, I was in West Virginia for 6 years, by the way. I went to school there. And wonderful people. Wonderful. Kind people when I was there. It was back in the 60s. And the governor, Jim Justice, no Justice, you shithead. He's announced the state would give young people a $100 bond to get an inoculation. Who the hell are you to decide this stuff? Freedom? It's gone. Freedom is dead. Celebrity endorsements. As vaccination slows, Biden adjusts strategy toward local response. You listen to the quotes from this guy. You ready? This is Biden. This is your choice to get vaccinated. It's either life and death. Screw off life and death. I got the numbers over here. Let me find them. I just printed them out. The death rate, here we go. There's been 3,268,468 deaths over 16 months throughout the world. You know what number we're talking about? Bullshit Biden? Hey, what are you paying back the drug dealers for the money they gave you? It equals 0.0026% of the world's population is dying from the COVID each month. We're dying from air pollution, all the chemicals, all the shit, the poisons they put in our food. But this is what they talk about. So now when you look at the death rate, the amount of deaths rather, and the cases, they had 156,642, whatever the number is over here. Anyway, when you look at the case rate, it's a 98% recovery rate. 156,646,972 cases. The recovery rate is 98%. So why would I want to get vaccinated if the chances of recovery and knowing who the people that are dying and the shape that they're in and the age that they're in, why would I want to get this? The administration now wants tens of thousands of pharmacies, blah, blah, blah. It's also, and it plans to devote tens of millions of dollars in community outreach, propaganda. Our money to sell propaganda for the drug dealers that got this, Pfizer's, this, they wrote in RT, they just basically slapped their name on this thing for BioNTech that got the money from the Germans to do it, and the Americans that paid for it. And now they're going to put more money into it. Most people will be convinced by the fact that their failure to get the vaccine may cause other people to get sick and maybe die, lied Joe bullshit Biden. Hey, if the other people got the vaccinations, they're safe. This is an outright lie. I go, unless you're lying about the vaccination. While nightclubs get green light to open, dancing is still prohibited. This is in New Mexico. They're opening up. They're going to turquoise level of restrictions. They'll open the bars, but you can't dance. They're making this shit up. Shitheads are making this crap up. COVID-19 restrictions in Nova Scotia are tough, but they could get tougher because they've had 79 cases. 79 cases out of a population of almost 1 million people, 971,000. 69 deaths over 16 months equals 0.00050. And they lock down the place, and it's going to get worse. This is sick crap. Oh, over there in Holland, the Dutch. And an IO survey found that 55% of the Dutch do not back any further relaxation of rules at present. And 1 in 5 say stricter ones should be made. And then Trump's Facebook ban upheld. Can you imagine? I mean, I can't stand Trump. The president, former president of the United States, banned. Censorship. This is disgusting. And look at the freaks. Look at this guy, Zuckerberg. Fuckerberg. Zuckerberg. Look at him. They banned the president of the United States. How bad could it be? Well, what else do we have here? One more. We've got a lot. Look at your Trends Journals last week. 133 pages. Freedom. Freedom. I want you to remember that word. This is from the Financial Times. This is from the Toilet Paper Record. It's about the election they had in Madrid this past week. Díaz Ayuso cries freedom in campaign to return as Madrid boss, Financial Times. This is the stupidity of the Times. They start with, she is a conservative. I could give a shit what she is, conservative or anything. But anyway, she's a conservative who campaigned on the slogan that came down to one word. The word is in the cover of your Trends Journal. Freedom. 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 It's our Memorial Day rally. Freedom. Freedom. Freedom, peace, and justice. Could you see what just happened over here? Nobody expected her to win. She knocked out everybody. Big win. Freedom. This is what this is about. And we can win. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, and as Ms. Ayuso made it clear, of women. And you know what her thing was? She didn't lock down Madrid. She fought the government. She kept it open. Freedom. Free to be me, free to be you. Don't tell me to be me, you be you. I'm free to be me. And that's what we're doing on May 29th. And we want you to join us. This is the beginning of a movement. It's a united movement we're pushing. There's a big announcement that you're going to hear there when you come, and it's going to be live streamed as well. And again, go to occupypeace.com and support us. You can't do this without money. Pfizer gave Trump, Biden $1 million, okay? They give all the drug dealers, give all the politicians money. We have to support each other. I can't do this on my own. And again, subscribe to the Trends Journal if you want to know what in the world is going on and what to do and how to prepare. There's nothing like it. Nothing, 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 nothing. And we're giving every ounce of energy. It goes back to this again. It's a little bit like an explosion from every social class, from every corner of society, in favor of freedom. In response to such a difficult time, Isabel Díaz Ayuso told the Financial Times. From every social class. They put people in these little groups. No, we're diverse. So again, May 29th, 3 p.m. Oh, and that music, the opening music we have here, Smokey Hormel, He's bringing up the hottest jazz cats that are around, man. We're going to be having a great time. Music, food, fun, freedom, peace, and just us. This is Gerald Salenti, and that's some of today's trends in the news. The COVID-19 war has changed the world, but who's prepared? What's next? It's in your Trends Journal. Trends Journal subscribers are prepared. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happens. From the world leader in trend forecasting.